looks like it is there. And I think I figured out the problem with Facebook last time. Yes, I did. All right. So we are a streaming. Okay. So I'm going to hit the video intro. All right. Hey, gentlemen. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Brothers Gaming, and we are playing Star Trek Adventures tonight. And we're playing with a special guest, one of my favorite people in the world, Hugo from Death Die
Hey,
Club. Thank you for
That
joining
was
us,
gonna
man.
be me.
thanks for the invite.
I tolerate you. I'm having Romulan ale, so it's Star Trek. Um, so perfect. Yeah. So yeah. Well, Hugo, since
Yes,
you're new to our channel, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you and the Death Die Club are all about?
sure. So we basically are a group of friends. I mean, who started playing role-playing games a while back. And one of the things we decided to do a couple of years ago was just to try and create more content in Spanish for role-playing games. I mean, of course, we started with D&D, which is sort of like the popular game down here. But we're just trying to, I mean, create content right now for whatever we can. We haven't really streamed a lot of our games. Like I was mentioning, it I think we end up fooling 50% of the time. So I'm not sure if a lot of people will be thrilled by by watching us. But at least, I mean, we've been creating a lot of more written material, both in Spanish and some of it in English for, let's say, for our Latin America audience.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And yeah, I've seen some of the great stuff that you've been doing down there, and it's great to get other gamers into the hobby and making it available to them is fantastic. So um,
Yeah, it's funny that I feel like I live in this bubble sometimes where I think there are players all over the world who play Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm just I almost like want to get involved with that in other cultures because I'm curious to see if they play it differently than they do here in the United States. I don't know. They may have the same ideas of as I do, as just cut everything down and ask questions later. I don't know, um, but I think that'd be really interesting because I love watching football or soccer as it is to you,
mhm.
or me, I should say, and how excited announcers get. And I would love to see that excitement in Dungeons and Dragons as opposed to Patrick and I, where I'm the only one celebrating when I kill one of his goblins, and I'm cheering, but he's just shaking his head like it wasn't that tough to kill that thing. But I think that'd be really interesting to see that streamed.
uh,
Oh yeah, it's and I think in that case, you pretty much describe how we play. It's I think 50% of the time we're celebrating stuff we either uh, did do or couldn't do, and I would say the other 50% of the time we actually try to survive the adventure. That's, I mean,
Right.
I think it's fun. The only downside, it just takes us forever to finish an adventure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the great. I can't think of any RPG streaming situation I've watched or listened to on a podcast where there isn't some sort of banter and it goes off into a totally different direction than what the game is actually focused on at the time. You could end up talking about a movie, and the next thing you know, you're talking about actors, and the next thing you're talking about is the Lego set talking about those. I mean, it's weird how you can just go in all different directions. And so I think that's just part of the fun of sitting down and playing games with people, whether it is strictly all Dungeons and Dragons or not. I think that's the fun about it all.
Yeah. Awesome. Yep. Well, and of course, for those of you who know, Doug and I are working on a RPG of our own, and we had already slated Hugo, or at least I had in my head, to play test our game, and he committed himself to it today. Earlier, he said,
yes,
"I'd love to play test it," so he can't get out of it now. He's
right. The verbal contract.
Yeah, he's screwed, or he'll be very happy. One of the two. So, yeah. All right. So tonight we are playing. I think Doug, you held up the book. I'll hold up my copy. Star Trek Adventures. So this was a game that I think, Doug, you asked me a few months ago, like, I ever thought about picking up Star Trek Adventures? And I said, no, I've already got a bunch of RPGs, and I'm not sure. And a little bit later, they sold everything as a PDF on the Humble Bundle, and I snapped it up. And,
Gone.
And here we are. So, so this is our first time for Doug and I playing, VGMing it. Hugo, I think you've had a little bit of experience with it, and I think a little bit more experience with the D20. The 2D20 system that Modifius has normally. So,
yeah, more. I mean, really, I've only played once a Star Trek game, and I've played a couple of times some of the 2D20s. We even actually tried I think it was the Fallout playtest. I'm not sure whatever happened with that game, but it's we sort of, I mean, we have a general idea of how to play it. So, yep.
All right. Well, it seems like a pretty cool system, pretty easy. So we'll kind of go ahead and get into this. But yeah, so so I have, if you see on Roll20, you do have, I popped in a couple of tokens for both of you. I like to give credit to Devin Knight of Immortal Knights, because he makes tokens that I love and use. The two tokens at the bottom, you'll see the United Federation of Planets and then the Red Alert. The United Federation of Planets will track momentum, and the Red Alert will track threats. We'll just kind of note that, and that's the way I kind of want to track it. This game will probably be a bit theater of the mind. I will have some maps and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily expect it to get really tactical, at least right now. In our first session, we'll probably kind of take it a little bit light, but we'll kind of start with just kind of getting used to the characters, kind of bringing in the tool set, or learning the mechanics and kind of getting them into play, and that kind of thing. So let's do a couple of things. Doug, why don't you introduce your character, and at least talk about a little bit about the starship too that you guys are in.
Okay, sure. So we were trying to make this, I thought about for our first session, I thought I would make it really interesting by having a character that is probably going to drive most Trekkies a little crazy. I have a Starfleet officer, a captain, if you will, who has been recently promoted, more of an interim captain, I would say. What's odd about this is, well, He's a Klingon. And some people who are Trekkie fans will probably explode. I hope they fill our Facebook page with all kinds of screaming and yelling and name calling, preferably in Klingon. Let's just be fair. I mean, so I can translate it. I mean, that's only fair, right?
All right.
But I thought it would be unique because who would think that there would be this Klingon captain? They're not exactly cozy and warm or anything like that. They are by heart warriors at nature, all about honor and wonderful, beautiful deaths. So how will that fit with a Starfleet vessel? We'll find out. His name is Onus Tok Tok. I wish I could speak a little bit better Klingon, but that's his name. We'll go by Onus for the sake of this session. That way, you know who he is. Kind of a loner. Grew up in a very isolated colony. Worked his way up into Starfleet. Obviously, worked his way up to second in command, which in itself is really unusual, unique. Makes him very I don't know, highly visible by everyone, right? Because who would expect this? What else can I tell you about him? Not a whole lot yet. We'll divulge some stuff as we move through in these sessions. He is the captain of the USS Steadfast, a very clever name that we came up with. I must say that we were all brilliant when we came up with that. It's if you are a Star Trek fan, it's classified as a starship, Federation starship.
New Orleans class.
Thank you. I was looking for it on my sheet. New Orleans class. And if you really want to be a nerd, I can give you the designation. It's NCC, so you can Google this later and be like, oh wow, NCC-68104. So good luck with that. Do we have the crew size on here? I should have checked that before I
it's
started opening my mouth. But
it's a big one. So by the way,
and
we are playing in the next generation era. So
yep, good point.
For folks.
But it has its standard armament like you would see on any explorer type starship, phasers and torpedoes and things like that. So yeah, looking forward to seeing where the Steadfast takes us in these voyages.
Awesome. All right, and Hugo, tell us a little bit about your character.
Sure. So I'm playing Satark, who's Balkan. Now, also, once again, not your run-of-the-mill Balkan. I was born in one of the frontier colonies, and it was interesting because when I actually grew up, I didn't have a lot of other Balkans around me, so I had more. I had actually access to a whole bunch of different races, so it was more of a more artistic sort of colony. So I mean, that actually ended up giving me a very interesting upbringing, just not as tight as the regular Balkans, but I also got access to see a lot of stuff that I would say your average Balkan child, I mean, doesn't actually have access to. I think in the end that gave me a different perspective in life. I mean, still, I mean, I try to be very I try to be very respectful. I'm also very logical, but at the same time, I actually don't mind just being a little bit more open or touchy feeling than other Balkans. I think that actually ended up putting me in a very interesting position. Since I actually I started studying at the academy, I got the opportunity to participate as a, let's say, helping out in several treaties that I actually immediately catch the eye of a couple of high-ranking officers, and they've been trying to, well, to help me out just to grow fast. They see that I might have a very promising future, and they are putting me here in a very interesting situation where, well, now we have Captain Onus, who's temporary the captain for this ship. They know he sort of has probably some anger issues, and they just want someone to be there just to keep an eye out for him and just to make sure that he doesn't actually get into trouble. So hopefully, if he actually shines, that also is gonna get me a couple of brownie points down the road. So hopefully, I'll counterbalance some of the stuff that Captain Onus wants to try out whenever he wants to get a little bit feisty in certain situations.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, so the New Orleans class, by the way, has basically a crew of about 190 to 200. So, but yeah. So, all right. And so why don't we kind of jump into it? So, Doug, I think I gave you the captain's log to start off this session with.
I gotta find it now. Look at me, not prepared. Okay, I'm ready.
Go for it.
All right. I do not know how to do a good Klingon, so I'll just sound angry, and that will be close enough. Captain's log.
That works.
Stardate 47679.3. It has been 2 weeks since the death of Captain. We recently dropped off the Cerniac delegation and are now en route to Zephas 4. The Zephans have petitioned the Federation for membership. We are to conduct the final evaluation of their claim and recommend to the Federation Council whether the petition should be granted.
All right. So, yeah, so
Nailed it.
very good. So, you're en route to the system called, as you noted, Zephas 4, where there is a group of aliens, other people attempting to and petition for entry into the United Federation of Planets. And you're kind of, you're on the sort of last stages, just evaluating their claim, make sure that they aren't, doing something that is inappropriate to Federation policy or protocols. So, they are enslaving people, that they, are living up to those ideals, etc. So, as you're en route, the communications officer reports, and that's Ukal Charo, who's on the bridge with you. And by the way, I'm going to just show what the bridge looks like for folks, since we did kind of put that on. So this is the bridge. It's using some of the maps that are provided from Star Trek Adventures. But yeah, Ukal basically indicates that there is a distress call coming through. Says, Captain, we're picking up an urgent request.
Open channel.
Channel is open. Are you wanting to hear the request, or are you wanting to speak?
Oh, sorry, you were cutting out there.
Oh, the channel is open.
This is Captain Chalk, USS Steadfast. Come in.
And it sounds very garbled, and it's like, and it has like these really clean breaks, kind of coming in the communication. So what you hear is, this is Adeline of the Johnson has failed. to be anomalous assistance.
I'll turn to the communications officer and say, can you pinpoint that message? Or whatever location of that message, where that's coming from?
Yes, Captain, it is it's basically 20 minutes away, slightly veering off our path.
Is there anything in that area, a storm or anything like that? Is it coming planet side, or is it is it out in the atmosphere?
It's coming from the direction of Libra 916, which is it's a neutron star, and I can't pinpoint at this point in time whether it is planet side or aboard a ship or whatnot. Though my guess would be that it's from a ship.
Is that neutron star causing the interference?
Based off of my knowledge of neutron stars, sir, I believe it could be, yes.
You're the communications officer. Okay. Okay, we will veer off course a little bit here and see if we can get a clearer signal.
All right. I can lay in, of course, sir. Course laid in, sir. All right.
Oh.
All right. they're waiting for instructions. All right. So the ship kind of diverges, detours from your present route, and is now heading towards Libra 916.
Okay. Maintain open channel.
Okay.
I'd like to see if the message is on a loop.
It is, and it's getting cut out at the exact. You keep missing same spot of same information keeps coming knocking out at the same time.
Can we tell any better if it's more on the planet or not?
Not from this distance yet. It'll probably be you'll probably have to get closer to the system before you're able to make that determination.
Yeah. In this case, Captain, I would probably say that we just get close enough until we figure out really where the stress signal is coming from. I of course, we have a duty to help anyone that needs help, but I just don't want to keep the defense waiting a lot. So I would probably suggest that we approach until we can actually pinpoint the source of the distress signal.
Make it so.
All right. So a few minutes go by, and you get into the Libra 916 system. They throw up on screen the image of the neutron star.
Okay. Ooh. I turn towards the communication officer. Have you been able to pinpoint where this is coming from? I wouldn't want to get any closer to the star.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay. So he can work on making that determination. I'm going to ask you to make one of you to make a check for him, though.
That I'll allow the captain to make the first roll. Let's see how it goes.
All right. So
Very good.
So you should see all your supporting characters in Roll20.
Yep.
All right. So that's Ukal, Kachoro, and so what we'll do is so that would be probably a reason plus con. And you can also have the ship assist. So we always want to consider that as a factor. So the ship can provide its communication and con as a part of that. So right now you're going to roll, you get the basic 2d 20. He does not have any focuses around communication, so you don't get any kind of benefits from that. But we're going to leave the complication range as normal. So do you know how to work the character sheet, Doug?
No, not really.
Okay, so open up Ukal. You got Ukal opened up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you click reason, and then you click con, you guys see how they change colors?
Yeah.
And then you see over to the right, you see task roll.
Yes.
And note that you see like the two, it's got 2 highlighted, so that means it's going to roll 2d20. So you can now just click the logo icon, and that should roll 2d20. All right, so you got 1 success and 1 did not. This is going to be, I was just going to put this as 1 success for you to succeed. So why don't you go ahead and open up the Starship character sheet.
Right.
And you're going to do the same there. You're going to select communication and then con, and then change the dice next to in the Starship task roll from 2 to 1. And then roll that. All right, so that means, so you got 2 successes that popped out of that. So that means you must have gotten a 1. So you got a critical success out of that. So that means you have 2 momentum that you earned off of that, which now means you can bank that. You can save it for later in case you want to buy a 3rd dice, or a 3rd die, or a 4th die, and I think I shared with you the rules summary. They had the really cool card, and I have the PDF version. So you've got you can create the opportunity, which basically means you buy an extra D20. You can create a problem for somebody, which doesn't really apply in this case, Doug. But like if you were interacting with an NPC, you want to create a problem for them. You can use it to obtain information. So you can ask me a question about the situation, and I must answer truthfully. But I don't necessarily have to give you the full detail. I just have to answer it truthfully. I don't have to be incredibly generous. Or you can create an advantage. Or remove a complication. So an advantage would give you some benefit later, helps you out in this particular scene. And right now there's not really much of a complication. So that's not really applicable. But that's where I can spend threat. I can add a complication, that kind of stuff. Note, at the end of every scene, you lose 1 momentum point. So right now you have 2. If I ended the scene now, which I'm not, you would drop to 1. But I keep my threat, so.
Okay. Who does the momentum go under? Does it go under the con?
It goes to both of you. You both get to spend momentum, however.
We both get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a pool of points for you. Do you want to bank it now?
I mean, I'm confused about the pool, but because there's a spot on the character sheets for momentum, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it does it
Oh, you do that?
like that. So I'm recording it on that one screen.
Oh, okay.
Just because it didn't make sense for me that you recorded momentum independently on the sheet when it's a shared resource.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So what was I'm sorry, back to your question.
Yeah. Did you want to bank it? Did you want to spend it?
Yeah, let's bank it.
Okay. All right. So he is able to determine that indeed the ship is actually in orbit around one of the planetoids that is orbiting the neutron star. So he's like, yeah, Captain, it's definitely coming from a ship, and it is orbiting one of these smaller planetoids around it. There's not any necessarily big planets within the system. It's almost like a solar system of asteroid. So it never quite formed into planets and anything. It kind of remained mostly quite a bit of debris and whatnot. So,
How big is the ship? Can we get any readings on that? Scans?
you can certainly attempt to roll some dice and see what you get.
Okay. Would I be going from the ship then?
You can have the ship do it. You could have, you've got a science officer as well, Sabine. She can help you out. She can make the roll for you. That's one of the.
That'd be fine.
That's one of the things I like about this rule set is they have those explicit rules for like supporting casts, since starships are usually pretty big and we don't have 150 people playing in an RPG.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, if somebody wants to roll for Sabine, remember you do have 2 momentum that you can use to buy extra dice if you'd like.
Okay. I think I'll probably make the what would the check be?
Yeah, so for this, it's going to be we use reason, and you wanted to scan the ship and see sort of like its yeah, okay, yeah. So reason and we can use science for that.
Got it. Okay, and I think in this case, I'll go ahead and use one of the momentums for right now. So that would increase the die to 3, right?
That's correct, and that would cost you for that one extra die. It would cost you 1 momentum point. You also do get the starship if you want, sensors and science. You can make that roll with that as well.
Okay, sensors and science. Okay, so let me go first with. Okay, I'll go first with Sabine. So I'm rolling 3.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
3 ones. Excellent. And by the way, I'm looking for 2 successes, by the way, on this. So.
Good. So, okay, and let me go now with the ship. So it's sensors and science, and the starship goes with.
Okay.
Well,
So you got one extra. So you got one momentum.
Mhm. Got it.
All right.
Good thing we recovered. So
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So the ship, you're able to scan it, and it's a smaller ship. It's a scientific exploration ship. Usually has a crew of 20 or so, and is dedicated really to doing stuff like being around a neutron star, exploring the edges of black holes and pulsars and magnetars and brown dwarfs and stuff like that. So it's that's the kind of ship that it typically is. So.
What can scans tell us? This is just a generic question. Can they tell us if it's under power? Can they tell us if there's like hull breaches, or I don't know how much a scan can tell us?
A scan. So I've been refreshing my my Star Trek experience by rewatching Star Trek Next Generation, and so you're going to be able to get quite a bit, life signs, etc. So they they're very much able to get quite a bit of reading off of it. It's Star Trek is it's hard science fiction. It's space fantasy with a lot of technobabble that makes it sound science fiction, hard sciencey, but it's really space fantasy. In my opinion. So basically, you tell me what it is that you would like to accomplish, and I'll tell you if you go too far. And most likely, you probably won't be pushing it too hard. You can't read their minds if they're alive. So.
Are we picking up life forms?
So here's where we come into. So there's I can tell you the answer, or you can roll. You will automatically succeed no matter what if you do the roll, but it gives you a chance to generate more momentum that you can use or bank, but it comes at a risk of a complication. So you kind of add the risk that. So if you want to roll and see if you get momentum, I'll let you, or I can just tell you. So.
Hugo, you have a lot more experience with Star Trek. Is it worth the momentum? Is it worth trying to get the momentum?
Right now, I would. We have two. I mean, I wouldn't risk it right now.
Right.
It's
right.
We can start getting greedy. Yeah, we can get greedy later. So, but I think we can keep the two momentum now.
I'm looking at his face right now, the game guy here. He was trying to get me, trying to pull me in there. I'd just like you to tell me.
Okay. Yes, there are life signs. And in fact, there are there are 18 life signs on the ship.
Do they have power and life support?
They have power. Life support seems to be active, but it is not full power. It is. They definitely seem to be sort of operating on reserve power, which is going to be just enough to support the life support. But they don't have impulse engines or anything like that.
How good's the tractor beam on your ship?
I mean, it's pretty decent.
Would it work on?
You're not close enough yet to use it.
I understand, but I'm just curious if that tractor beam is something that is used or useful for a ship that size.
Yes, it can be used. So it can be used to tractor beams can be used to tow other ships that are without power or whatnot. not. So you can use a tractor beam to basically pull or drag large ships away. And this isn't as large as your ship, so it is possible to use it.
Is the Steadfast getting any unusual issues with our systems at all based on our distance from the star?
Right now, no.
Okay, right now. I would probably turn around to Sabine and say, well, I mean, science officer, as you know, I mean, right now our priority is just to basically to establish all the diplomatic relationships with CFAS. So, do you foresee any risks if we try this rescue operation? I mean, I wouldn't want to jeopardize the mission. Do you see any issues if we get that close or in range for the tractor beam to work?
Yes, there's absolutely a potential risk that we could run into power surges or power outages or disruption in the power. For all we know, that's caused the issue on that ship that we've come to help. We may be better shielded, but they're a science exploration ship, so
they should be used to getting this close to things, right?
Yeah. So it's so that the fact that they seem to be in distress is concerning, and it does potentially cause us some a level of risk.
Captain, how would you like to proceed?
This delegation that's with us, Patrick, is it?
There is no delegation with you. You dropped off the delegation, the Cerniacs.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Who from the Federation is meeting these people directly? Is it us on the bridge?
You.
Do we have? I wasn't sure if we had a Federation liaison or not, other than the Klingon.
You are the Federation liaison.
They are putting you to the test, man.
You are the finest Starfleet has to offer. You are representing.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, questionable.
Tell me what you think, Hugo. So what I'm thinking is we send a small party down now to communicate to the Ziphians that we do want to talk to them about their claim. But as a member of the Federation, we are required to help when needed. And they should see that we extend that courtesy to anyone. And so we should be modeling this behavior for them. Possibly, I wonder if we could get some assistance from them.
Interesting. I think that would actually make sense. Let's see how willing they are to really join the Federation. I mean, if they could extend some help, I think that actually makes sense.
Okay, so they are still, the Zephans are, probably about an hour away from warp at warp speed. You can obviously send them a communication.
Warp speed?
Yeah, the Zephans.
I thought we were.
The Zephans.
I thought we were already there.
No, you were en route.
Oh, we were en route. Okay. An hour, huh?
Ooh, okay.
You can send them a message, which will get there fast, and they could possibly send help or whatnot. But it'll take a little bit of time for them to, for you to get the message to them, for them to receive it, for them to send any help.
I think this. I think, well, even if they don't agree to, I think it would be good to send it out just in case we get any delays. At least they understand. I mean, we were actually involved in a rescue mission, so they don't take it as a disrespect that we're actually late.
Yes, I will do that. I'm going to send a message to them, please.
Okay.
Patrick.
Yep. So I mean, that's
Uh,
not
I'm going.
our task. So yep.
Okay.
What do you?
I just want to explain to them that we are. Sorry, I just want to explain to them that we are en route, or we're en route. We received a distress call, which we are obligated to respond to as members of the Federation. And I have a responsibility to help those in need. I would do that for anyone, including the Ziphians, if they requested help. So I hope they understand. I hope that we will only be delayed a short time until we can resolve our situation. And I will keep in contact with them as soon as we take care of this task. Should it be necessary, I hope they would extend some sort of help if needed. Send.
Okay.
Facebook Messenger.
Did you friend them first?
Of
Okay.
course.
All right. All right. So, communications officers gets that sent off, and it's on its way.
All right. I am hesitant to send a small transport. I don't think that serves us very well. In fact, it could strand people on board if we try to send them on board. I kind of like this idea of using our tractor beam to at least get them out of potential danger near the star.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the security officer's
Yeah.
take on
I
that.
totally agree. I mean, I think in this case, if the science officer is right and we run a risk, I mean, if a ship as large as us actually has a risk of getting too close, I can definitely see a smaller vessel actually having more issues. So no need to actually send a rescue ship just to have it stranded there. So yep, I think it's probably better if we get as close as we can and try to use the tractor beam.
I'd like to call down to engineering, Patrick, and make them aware of what we're approaching and see if the engineering officer has had any any of their own personal experiences with a star like this, and to see if there have been complications before, or if there have been remedies or preparations that they could do to help with any contingencies.
So your chief engineer is Monty Volante, and
Monty Monty.
Monty Volante.
Love that name.
And he's like, Captain, because they all have Scottish accents, right?
Of course.
It's a requirement for engineering.
Yeah.
But I can't do one very well or very sustained. So he comes back. He says, "No, I have no experience with neutron stars, but we will give you every power we can."
Of course. Safe already, Monty. Have your crew ready at a moment's notice there, Monty Volante.
Aye, Captain.
Okay, so in terms of position, there's probably no real good way to draw this. Let me go back to the picture here. Let's do some geometry, kids. All right, so since I'm looking out the bridge window to the star, are they on this side of us, or are they on the far side of it?
So
yeah. Can ships be in an orbit of a star like that? I don't know how that works. I mean, will it eventually come around to us?
Yeah, so you can go into orbit. It's cranking out a lot of energy. So neutron stars are kind of exotic items. So they are the collapsed core of what was once a massive super giant star, right? So they have a ton of gravity associated with them. In fact, they're probably as close to being a black hole without being a black hole as you can get, at least
Gotcha.
in design.
Yeah.
So super dense, tons of gravity, but they don't generate heat. All right, because they basically just don't actively do that anymore, and they're cooling. So, oh wait, sorry, I'm incorrect. They're very hot, so they just aren't like in the process of doing a whole bunch. So, and just to give you an idea, a normal size matchbox containing neutron star material would weigh approximately 3 billion tons. And the magnetic fields are basically 1 quadrillion times stronger than Earth's magnetic field. And its rotation rate is really fast, and they speed up in their rotation.
Well, there has to be some sort of threshold of how close we can get to the star without getting sucked in, essentially.
Yeah.
Some tolerance there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can definitely get close to it. You have deflector shields, which will provide a level of protection if you activate those and have those in and move in closer. Obviously, the exploration vessel thought it could get in closer. In terms of where it's at, you're looking at the star from a decent distance from a view screen. The planetoids that are orbiting it aren't really visible in that image you have there. You'd have to kind of move in a bit closer to kind of see it, but it would be kind of, if you were trying to think about it, it would be towards your it's kind of on the right side of the stars is where the signal's coming from, and a planetoid that is there. But yeah, so yeah, you would be able to get into a proximity to which you could use the tractor beam. You're still going to have some level of risk for the ship, no matter what you do, because you can't. You have to get close enough to actually be able to use it.
Is there a way to transfer data from the ship? Not from our ship, from the science vessel. Like, can we upload all the data that they have in some way to find out what? Maybe we could analyze it before we go zooming in there. Maybe there's something there that caused a problem.
They would be able to send it to you, yes.
If we make contact.
If you contact them, yes.
I'm sorry, Hugo, what were you going to say?
Yeah. I would probably say in this case, let's try to get close to them, and we can start trying to pull them. I mean, and we can try to establish communication as soon as we start getting them out of range. I mean, before actually just boarding them or just having any additional contacts with them, we can definitely try to reestablish communication. But I think it's going to be very hard as long as they are where they are right now. We're just going to keep getting interference.
Mm-hmm.
And I
wonder if there's a way we could move aboard too.
Yeah.
If we had to.
Yep. And
all right, we're gonna move in closer.
Okay.
Within tolerance.
Okay. All right. So your ship kind of goes in. You start to see some fluctuation kind of in the power. It's very, very limited. You kind of see some dimming and coming back on, brightening, that kind of stuff. So nothing like you don't have sparks flying from the consoles or anything yet. But in the image on the screen, as you approach, it starts to get a little bit of static to it. But again, nothing alarming. You have all have seen such things before. So.
Is communication improved at all between us and the vessel?
Do you want to try talking to them, or are you trying to hear the looped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to hear the loop.
Yeah. No, it's the same. Same number, same places that the voice audio is cut out remains consistent.
So it's breaking at very precise points, right? I probably asked the science officer. I say, hey, science officer, can you just go ahead and check the pattern at which the communication is breaking up, and just try to figure out if it's somehow aligned to some sort of radiation that it's emitting. So I just want to figure out if whatever's cutting the transmission, is it something caused by this disturbance, or could it be something else?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll ask you to make a roll. I'm going to look for 2 successes on that.
Okay.
And of course, the ship can help as well.
So it will be with Sabine, right?
Yes, that will be with Sabine. And as a reminder, you have 2 momentum.
Got it. So that would be reason and science?
Yes. Reason and science, and computer. No, not. I would say computers and science from the ship standpoint.
Okay. Got it. So I'll use one of the momentums again. So that'll be 3.
Okay.
And there we go. Reason and science. So, okay, 2 successes.
Yep.
Ah, man, one of them is a complication, right? Is that the red?
Yes, red is a complication.
Ah, man. Okay, and let's go with the computer. Okay. So let me see. And the computer would be, okay, so it's computers and science, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Let's see. Okay, so that would be, yep. That's 3 successes and a complication?
3 successes and a complication. That's correct. So
got it.
You've got that extra momentum. Do you want to bank that? Do you want to spin that?
Ah, man. Is there any way to cancel the complication if we use the momentum?
I was wondering, yeah.
Yes. So that's the create advantage momentum. So you would have to spend 2 momentum to remove a complication.
Got it. So right now we have 2, right?
Yeah. So you would have to spend both of them to remove that complication.
Yeah.
I would.
Yep. Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm gonna go take you to 0 on your momentum. All right. So as she's working through the computer trying to find it. The computer like shuts off, like much more than what you've seen the lights going on, and she says, "Oh, hold on," and she pops it in. And she manages to work. So that's your complication, and then you bought it back, so she gets it back on, doesn't lose any of her data. So,
Oh, good.
So I want to acknowledge that there was a complication, and that you bought it and took it away. And she says, yes, the distress message, and it's where the text, the audio is being cut out, is directly aligned with the gamma ray wave bursts coming from the star.
Got it. Well, so at least, I mean, the good news in this case is that it's 100% related to the star. So, man, we just need to be careful. Okay. I would say let's continue the approach.
Agreed. We're going to keep moving.
All right. Okay.
Because this is either going to be a really short gaming session, or it's the beginning of a great one.
Yeah, so it's either, you can see it. This is either the pilot or the chapter 1 of the season.
This is the pilot that gets renewed.
And even another Klingon.
Yeah. So much for the Steadfast. So you continue forward. So at this point in time, you could, if you wanted to, bring the ship probably up into visual view, if you wanted to. The power kind of gets a little bit more extreme, but the deflector shields are holding for the most part, so nothing bad's kind of really getting through. They do report that they are getting sort of these really anomalous shifts in gravitation, which does not seem, it seems kind of odd that you would be experiencing gravitational wave kind of shifts like that. Because it's spinning, it should be kind of giving you a kind of consistent set of gravitational waves, but it's not. But yeah, so you keep moving in. So, but again, your ship's able to currently cope with the said interference. Oh, you're on. I can't hear you.
Okay, there we go. So I would probably just turn around to the science officer and say, so the moment you see that we might start running into trouble, just alert us. I mean, of course, we're trying to save some lives in here, but we really want to be extra careful. I don't want them to have to send an SOS signal for our ship. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's our distance before we can be in tractor beam range?
You probably need to go about, another 100,000 kilometers.
I look at the science officer and say, is that within tolerance?
Yeah, it should be, Captain.
Keep on keeping on.
All right. So you keep pressing forward, and the science officer says, "Well, that's weird."
Ooh, okay. So first we had the comment, it should be, and now it's like it's weird. That man, I don't like it.
Full stop. Full stop.
Full stop. All right.
What's the issue, science officer?
Um, I'm not sure how to. I've never. Let me just show it to you. It's probably easier to show it to you than anything. And so she throws up on screen, and you see a small ship. Kind of looks very Star Trekky. It's got the kind of the nacelles, but they're on the sides of it and drop down. It's not a big ship, it only has usually a scientist and crew of 20 or so. And you're looking at this, and you kind of see the planetoid behind it, and you see the neutron star kind of dominating the space behind it on the other side. And the ship flickers in and out of view. So, you're just watching it, and it's like it just goes in and out of visibility.
Wow. So what are we seeing exactly? Is it facing in and out, science officer, or is it something else?
Is it like a hologram?
No, it's there and it's not there. I've never encountered something like this. It seems to be literally going in and out of existence as we're watching it. But it's maintaining its orbit, right? So it's slowly, orbiting this planetoid. And I should tell you, Captain, that orbit is decaying. So it is not. Right now, I'd say it has a couple of hours before it crashes into the planetoid itself. But it's, as you're watching it phase in and out, it is maintaining that orbit. So it's retaining its sort of trajectory as it kind of comes in and out. It shouldn't do that, but it is.
Is it consistently like, or is it just intermittent? Like I cannot tell a pattern when it's going in and out. Is it on for 20 seconds and then off for 10, on for 20, off for 10? That kind of thing?
It's matching the communication. Right.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah. So in this case, science officer. So I think my only concern in this case is, I don't see how we can help the ship if it's actually shifting in and out of existence. Can we try to pull them with the tractor beam? If the tractor beam is useless, I'm out of ideas how we can actually help them.
Well, we could. I do not know if the tractor beam would work, and it would just have to constantly kind of reacquire it every time it kind of came in, and it would be a slower progress. That's possible. I suspect we could use the transporters timed with the when it's phased in and phased out. We could ensure that we transport people over. Obviously, we want to make sure we studied that and understood it. But yeah, but again, we don't know what is happening in the ship itself, why they don't have power, or and we would need to make contact with them to get them so that we could tag onto them and hold on. If we were able to provide a booster, transporter booster, that would certainly help our odds of transporting them over here safely.
I know they don't have power, but is there a way? Is there communications open? Obviously, they're trying to send out things. I'm curious if they can receive
They should be able. They're on reserve power. They should be able to receive communication as well as.
Is there a way to send a message synchronized with the gamma rays? Meaning, you know how we have those gaps in the message? Is there a way to not send a message during those gap times so they get a complete message without it being distorted?
I think I could. I think I could make that work, sir. We could record your message, and then make sure we broke it up and delivered it across those chunks. I think that's how we would do it, sir.
I think that actually sounds like a plan.
Well, let's send this message. Steadfast to research vessel. Please recognize that we are sending this through gamma radiation. Please, let's see, how do I want to phrase that? Do you have is there a way to lock on tractor beam with you phasing in and out? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but
you're wanting to ask them if you can lock in on their tractor beam time phase with the timing.
Yeah.
Of the thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you would you could use the science officer to they're going to need to make a roll, and to successfully chop up the message that well. Or obviously, Sitark or Otis, one of you could try it as well. But it would be reason and science, and then using the ship, it would be computers and science, or communication and science. Computer is better. All right. So you got one success. You're going to need 2. Oh, just got it. All right. But you generated no momentum. All right. So she sends the message through. All right.
Is our ship holding okay? Same. I assume we're still having the same interference, but no other.
Nothing other
strange thing.
That's correct.
Okay. As long as we don't have anything comes wrong, or as long as the ship is holding up, I think we're fine. We can actually continue this.
Okay. So the response comes back, and it basically is tractor beam no, recommend transporter. Engines down.
They're dead duck.
Yep.
But I want to say, okay, but I mean, this, to me, Hugo, this is our best option.
Yep. I would probably say, so is there anything, and I'll probably ask the science officers, okay, so is there anything we can send to the other ship? I mean, is it like a beacon or something that can help us just like fix the transport? I mean, can we send a small crew over there with like a beacon or something else that can help us just lock onto the signal just to make the transport easier?
Yeah. So, well, you could send over yeah, transporter signal boosters. They're kind of like cylinders that they can set up, and they boost transporter signals, which would probably be useful even if this was a normal neutron star with its kind of interference. Um, you could, they might be able to do something with their own transporter machinery. Um, so that's certainly a possibility.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it is.
Plus, if we try to transport that stuff and it fails, then maybe we think about, if it doesn't send all right, it's certainly not going to send the human being back all right.
Yep.
I mean, I would think we have probably enough time to test it. If we send the boosters over, then we can test seeing them send a non-organic thing to us, just to make sure that it's working right.
Yep. Can we send just the cylinders? I mean, just all by themselves? So do we actually need to send some red shirts over there? I'm just saying.
You can send just the transporter boosters.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. So that would be, to do that, I'm going to ask you to make a successful roll. It would probably, in this case, be, I'm going to say it probably would be more of an engineering.
Right.
So, or I'll probably roll to make sure you had it over there. So again, reason and engineering would probably be what I would use for if you're using the Starship to help. Then it would be the computers and engineering to deliver those.
You want me to do it, Hugo?
It's if you want, go ahead and do it for Monty, and I'll do it for the ship. So there's one. And we said for the ship, it will be computers and engineering, right?
Correct. And by the way, you don't have any momentum. But if you wanted to buy extra dice, you could give me threat at the same cost. So
thanks for.
We're fine.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the offer. We'll.
Down here.
Okay, there we go. So that's 2.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So they disappear from your transporter room and supposedly end up on the ship that you were sending them to.
I like to send a message asking for acknowledgement that they received them.
Okay. Response is yes. Our ship is decaying faster than expected.
I knew you were going to throw that in there. We don't have time for a little science experiment, do we? we gotta send the guinea pig. Send them a message to put the red shirts on, and then we're gonna try this. How many can we transport at a time? Is it 4 or 5?
Roll a 1d6.
Oh,
Okay, this is great. Okay.
If you want to make it, if you want to increase it, you can give me that number of threat to increase it. But
how many can we get?
That's like a perfect complication that you've added for yourself without me having to spend a single threat.
That sucks. How much time do I have? How many before they are lost?
Yeah.
How many? Excuse me. How many transports do I have before they're lost? I should ask.
Yeah. So it was at about 2 hours that it was decaying and would be colliding. It now looks like it is going to be closer to an hour. So you should be able to transport all 18 over within that kind of time period fairly easily. Presuming everything holds steady, because it doesn't take that long to transport. So that probably take you, 20 minutes to transport 18 people over one at a time.
Okay, so let's start that process. Tell them to send the cook first. That way, if it doesn't work out, we can always find another cook. And in the meantime, also, I'd like them to see if they would agree to upload all their data that regarding the distress call.
Okay. They response comes back. We can match data to the pattern to send over. Before sending person, we want to send valuable scientific material.
I'm not okay with this, Hugo.
No,
we don't know what
no.
sending.
Yeah, no. I would probably What I would probably suggest is that they send at least a couple of folks in here, and then they can probably send some of the material. But I want to be sure that I would probably suggest that we actually have someone who knows what the material is for handling. I mean, I personally, from a security standpoint, I wouldn't receive any strange material in here. We're not sure if it's contaminated, if it's
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, send this back, Patrick. This is a rescue mission, not a science expedition. Any materials that you want to see first, we cannot guarantee the safety of those. We have lives that we are protecting on board the ship, and we can discuss that after personnel have been, the majority of personnel have been brought over. All crew that are being transported over will have to go through quarantine procedures.
Okay.
Apparently, they didn't like it.
Urgent. Must send material.
Ooh. And they need to wear a face mask as well.
And socially distancing. That's why it's only one transporter at a time. It's socially distanced transporting.
It is. We're trying to be responsible.
Is this the USS Fauci by any chance we're trying to get?
Another message comes non-biological.
Non-biological. That could, uranium.
Yeah, exactly. That's non-biological, and it's extremely harmful. I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't like it. Send data. Send us the data for analysis.
Coming. Much data.
Great. I'll have the science officer give me a rundown of the data as quick as possible.
Yeah. Sir, it's coming in. It's going to be probably 30 minutes before we get it all, having to work through.
We have 5.
Uh,
You,
it's them sending
you have
it.
5 minutes.
It's them sending it. Not, I'll analyze it as it's coming in, but it's if I don't have it, I can't analyze it. It's going to take 30 minutes to get over here.
Hey, don't give me any lip there, science officer.
Yes, sir.
So in this case, Patrick, I'll probably like to get a hold of Elsie. It's I mean, assume that also it's one of the security, let's say, lieutenant under me, right?
Yep.
And I'll probably say, hey, just get a small crew and just get it to the transporters and make sure you implement quarantine procedures. I mean, I just want to be sure that whatever or whoever actually comes through the tubes, they go through the procedures. If you see any material come through, find a way to isolate it. I mean, I don't want it. I don't want it anywhere where it can actually harm the rest of the crew. Just find a way to isolate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, science officer, what do you got so far?
They're going to make you make a roll for that.
Oh, you jerk.
So, because of how you're pushing it, I want you to increase the complication range.
Okay, it's currently on 1.
Yeah, so I want you to increase it to 2.
Okay.
So this basically adjusts it so that instead of just being a 20 that introduces a complication, it's a 19 or a 20 that introduces a complication.
Got it.
And you're going to need 3 successes.
Ooh.
No.
And of course, you have the ship who can help. But
what are the attribute and discipline?
It's going to be science and reason and science, and then for the ship, it'll be computers and science.
Oh, I got 2.
Ooh.
Sorry, Hugo. Pressure's on you.
And okay, I know. Okay, so computers and science, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Lucky. She says, I'm getting some information. It's really weird, sir. They have taken some samples from the planetoids around this neutron star and contained it because it is also phasing in and out. But they've managed to find a way to build an apparatus
to stabilize it.
The apparatus stays in phase, but the material inside it, which is held together, their isolinear frequency transducer keeps that object. It still phases in and out, but the surrounding object is unaffected.
Can you ask the vessel how many samples they wish to send?
3.
How big are these things, do you think? Size of a man?
No, no.
Oh, small.
Very small.
I think that means you need to drink more.
The weight of these things is enormous.
Enormous, yeah.
Oh man.
So the container is about the size of this. The sample size in it is like a few grains of sand, and it weighs nearly as much as their ship.
We can't even transport anything that heavy, can we?
You can, because it's in the special device,
Containers.
and it kind of
But
negates
if we're
the
to
gravitational effects.
break open, we're all dead.
Well, a few red shirts, but yeah.
Hugo and I will get on a little transport.
It's
fun. Some ramen noodles.
I know it's. I don't like this. I don't agree with this. This looks. This is weird. Um, my concern. So now, okay, so we can transport it. Now the problem is, once it gets to our ship, how are we supposed to move it? Or would this special vessel allow us to move it?
That's the way it sounds.
Yeah. The special vessel basically negates the gravity that allows you to, like, you can carry it, like you yourself can carry it.
Man.
So, and you'd actually probably be able to look at it and watch if you could see sand grains going in and out. You're able to see it with some special microscopy that they have in their ship, and you have on yours, but you'd be able to see it phasing in and out.
Send message to the vessel. Are there members of your vessel that wish to come aboard prior to trying to submit samples? People should not be held against their will, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Response: resent implication. All agree samples priority.
I don't really care if they resent it.
You have about a half hour.
Damn it. I mean, just tell them, like, no point in receiving samples if no one can explain what they are for.
Send.
Yeah.
He said, yes. That's right.
Needs further study, and this was the entire purpose of our mission.
Authorized by who?
Starfleet highest levels. And they send you a code that comes through. That code is VX9826.
Can we verify that code?
The code pops up in a regulation that basically says that confirms that if somebody is aware of that code or states it, that they are operating under secret Starfleet orders. Now, that said, this isn't like, it's not like a code that says, hey, verify, right? It's too open to be like somebody, like a passphrase or something like that
right.
Somebody would use. It's simply referencing that it is a regulatory notation that's kind of connected with that Starfleet stuff. You could verify it more concretely if you had some more information and had time, but you're too far away to get that kind of communication back in time from Starfleet Command.
Captain?
Sir.
It doesn't seem like we have a lot of options. It seems like they are willing to sacrifice themselves for the sample. So
All right. We will receive samples.
Okay.
With science officer.
What do you mean by that?
I want them to send me the samples and then follow it up with the next thing I see coming through the transporter would be the chief science officer.
Okay. Agreed.
All right, so security is going to have to make sure that once we get these samples that they are immediately like secured. I wonder if it's worth putting in a transporter outside of the ship. Meaning, if something were to happen to the transporter, at least it's not on board. The only problem is if we go to warp, you're going to have a problem there. Because let's say if they break, we have this huge amount of gravity being expelled. I guess it doesn't matter quite yet. Let's just get it on board. We're ready to receive samples.
Okay. Then I would like your con to or engineering, either one, to conduct the transportation, to time it with the phasing in and out. So that is a reason, and engineering from the person, and computers and engineering from the starship. This will be 2 success necessary.
Boom.
All right.
okay, and
You generated
Ah,
momentum.
yeah. There we go.
All right. Cool. Do you want to bank that momentum or use it?
I think we bank it. I think we're gonna need it.
Yeah, I think we are too.
Yes.
Because this has gone so well so far.
All right. So it's banked, and you get one of them over, and it conforms to what you would have expected. It's small, and the security officer is able to pick it up and
Juggle it?
they want to juggle it. Yeah, no,
No.
it's
No.
it's just one. So, but it's it's light. It seems so the containment that's holding this in seems to be working.
That's cool. Okay, that's pretty cool.
All right, that's one of them.
Oh, how many am I? Oh, getting 3.
Yeah, we can let it ride if you'd like. to bring
Okay,
the
yeah.
other 2 over. Okay.
With
Yep.
momentum on each one, huh? That's awesome.
No. If you want to roll to see if you get more momentum, you can do that. But you
No, I'd rather.
No.
I don't want any problems trying to transfer. I'm gonna say if you're okay with me just transferring them, I go okay.
Yeah.
I'll take them without incident.
All right. Okay. So you get the 2 other ones over, and they remain intact. They look good. And then you're ready for the chief science officer.
Yep.
All right.
Look at his face, Hugo.
I know. Yeah,
what's going on here? There's something going on here.
All right.
Okay.
Give me a roll.
All right.
Be the same roll.
Oh man.
Complication.
Oh man. Okay. Man.
Gonna need another chief science officer.
Yes. So we got half of the science officer.
It's like from the original movie when the guy's like ends up as a puddle on the transport. So you really work to kind of like bring him over. You kind of it's kind of you see him kind of like start to appear, and then the pattern changes, and so your science officer says the pattern's changed, and then you lose the signal, and the chief science officer does not appear in your transporter.
Okay.
You have 15 minutes.
Send a message. Report on chief science officer. Do you need a janitor?
Alive and well.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, scrape off walls or something like that.
Send broom.
He's tasty.
I want to try it again.
Okay. So you probably you need to analyze the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, you're at 15. You're at 15 minutes, so you need to analyze the pattern. So the science officer and the computer can do that. That's going to be, you just need 1 success to do it. If you get extra momentum, I'll allow you to speed up their ability to do that, but it's probably going to take a couple of minutes at the very least to understand what the pattern is.
You want me to increase the complication then to 2? Since we got 1 on the last turn.
No, leave the complication as a 1.
Okay.
It doesn't increase. It only increases by the context of the situation.
Okay. Well, there's our success.
Yep. You can have the ship roll
Got it.
2 and
Okay. Computers and science on this case?
Yep.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh.
So you generated 3 momentum. All right. So I'm going to add all those. So you currently have 4 momentum. So you can spend some of those if you want to decrease the time to do that analysis. You could save it, use it for some of the rolls. Right now, just remember you don't have enough time before the ship crashes into planetoid before you can get 1 person over at a time. You have 3 too many people.
Can we use momentum to increase the time between transports?
To decrease the time, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you do that. Kind of makes it a
So
little bit
you're
hasty.
saying
but
I could save, instead of saving 3, I might save 3.5, because that's not going to work. That math does not work well. Needs to be a full person, Patrick.
Yeah. Just a red shirt, Doug. Come on. I would say that you can spend a momentum to basically squeeze enough time out to get all 18 over if you start now, and if the pattern doesn't change again.
So the next roll is pretty big.
Yeah. So what we can
Would
do?
you agree?
Yeah.
What we can do is, I'm not going to make you roll for all 18, but let's say
Winner take all.
over the next, I want like you have like 5 rolls that you need to generate 7 successes on, or there's going to be
Okay.
folks that don't make it. So
Okay.
um,
And we have 4 momentum, right?
you have 3 momentum because you're gonna spend one
3.
of those to
Oh yeah.
to
Okay.
decrease the time.
Got it.
Deal.
Yep.
All right.
So
And will we do it? Go ahead.
no, sorry.
Hugo.
So we do science and computer. It's 5 rolls each.
5 rolls each, but the ship
Oh.
the ship and the person cannot be separate, kind of thing. So
We have to roll them together, basically.
you have to roll them together. That counts as a roll.
Okay. Got it.
No whammies. Come on.
1. Okay, we have 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 1 roll.
This is out of
Success.
12, you said?
5 rolls, 7 successes.
Oh man. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
3,
There we go.
4.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 rolls, 4 successes. You only need 3 more.
4, 5.
All right.
Come on. We only need 2 more. There we go.
Boom. All right. So you kind of get a little bead of sweat at the top. You see your transporter guy
Klingons
like,
don't sweat.
kind of sweating. It's the transporter guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a last name. Starts sweating, and but you see him gain confidence, and pretty quickly he's like, "Oh, I've got this," and you end up with all 18 of the passengers over, the last one phasing in as the ship itself crashes into the planetoid into
Ooh.
what would have been a satisfying explosion if it weren't so dangerous.
Oh man.
And the last person you bring over, she's a tall human woman with dark hair, and she's got tied up into kind of a ponytail that goes long, that's high on the top of her head, and she kind of looks oddly at Onus, recognizes the rank on his lapel, the 4 circles insignia, and she says to you, "I'm Captain Madeline Erickson, formerly captain of the USS Katherine Johnson. Thank you for saving us." And she extends her hand.
I don't say anything. I'm just gonna grunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome. You have a lot of explaining to do.
Perhaps not. So I appreciate you getting the samples over, and I will need to get these back to Earth as quickly as possible for more study.
Your mission is not my mission. We have other arrangements that we are obligated to fulfill per our orders.
I think, Captain, we probably should check in with Starfleet to see which order has priority.
I will. I just want to establish who exactly here has command.
Understood, Captain.
We will for now be following Federation Starfleet regulations and putting you and your crew in quarantine. I hope to speak to you very soon because I am too interested in what you have found and what I have put my crew at risk for.
I don't think you've put your crew at risk at all, sir, but those protocols
I'm not
make
one with an
sense.
exploded chip on a planet. You're dismissed.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'll wave the security over to send them to quarantine.
She complies. So.
Darn right she complies.
Yeah.
Things, you know, Otis kind of flicks his own braid around, you know.
Yep. All right. Yeah. I think, gentlemen, that's a good place to stop for the first session.
Before we finish, I would like to have the science officer finish evaluating, you know, in between sessions, evaluating what we found.
Yep. Fair
from
enough.
the data.
Yep.
And then I'll have a security check with Starfleet on this crew, this captain, and their ship, and their priorities. I would also like to send a message to were they
Zephus.
what was it? How do you pronounce it?
Zephus.
Sorry?
The Zephus.
Zephus. Telling them we have successfully completed our rescue mission. We are headed their way, and thank them for their patience, and we will get to them as soon as we can.
Okay.
And I think that's everything.
Yep.
As we pull away, I assume systems go back to normal on the Steadfast?
Yes.
We're not getting any problems from the artifacts we have?
No.
Okay. I'll leave it to the security guys to make sure those are well guarded and
Definitely
secured.
All right.
Yep.
And that's it. I'm going to bed. No, I'm just kidding. Captain is... Klingons don't sleep. I wonder if they hang from the ceiling when they sleep like a bat.
I don't think
So
so.
when you wake them up. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
They put like coconut oil on all their skull.
Oh yeah, they're
No.
they're very into facials and maintaining the youthfulness of their skin. Absolutely.
After we're done recording, I got a question for you and Hugo.
Yeah.
I have a Klingon question.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching the first episode of Star Trek Adventures USS Starship Steadfast. So Star Trek Steadfast is what we're calling this. So hope you had as much fun as we did. I think it was a great way to start playing within the system and kind of kickstart campaign. So thank you. So Doug and I are Two Brothers Gaming, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and whatnot. And Hugo from Death Die Club, you want to say where people can find you, buddy?
Yeah, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course at our blog, thedeathdieclub.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you for playing with us, Hugo.
No, thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure.
A lot of
and
fun.
Looking forward to what comes next. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. And we will
Right.
be signing off. So, heading to the outro.